Welcome back to the Launch Point Leader Podcast. My name's Lori.
I'm Bo.
And we're so excited to be back here another week as we are diving into this month, building confidence and credibility with your team as we talk about how to set yourself up well for the year going into 2026. This week, we've got a letter from a listener who is going through a real situation that I think a lot of us can relate to. It says, Dear Launch Point, I'm at my new company and I'm trying to find the right balance of how I show up. I was hired for my experience, so I'm being asked to contribute, lead discussions, and make recommendations a little earlier than I expected. I appreciate the trust, but I'm also very aware that I'm still new. Every time I speak up, I wonder if it sounds confident or if it comes across as cocky. I don't want to be the person who acts like they know everything, especially around teammates who have been here longer. But at the same time, I don't want to downplay my skills or dodge responsibility just to be liked. Being agreeable feels safer, but it doesn't feel like leadership. I'm trying to build credibility without overcorrecting in either direction. How do I earn confidence in a new environment without sounding arrogant? And how do you navigate the tension between being liked and being respected when you're still the new guy? Thanks for your thoughts and insights. Assertive and aware.
You got to realize you were invited into this company and this team in a position of leadership. And even though other people might have been on this team longer than you have and at the company longer than you have, excuse me, they were not the ones invited to lead. So somebody has seen something in you, through you, whether it's through experience, through results, whatever it might be. Just understand that while they've been there longer, you're tasked with being their leader now. So I don't think you should let that throw you off with their experience. But I do think there's some tactical ways that you can go about engaging with them so that it's not, a very harsh situation.
Right.
So I think the first thing I would do is just ask a lot of questions. Start engaging with them, create connection. Leadership is influence, right? And so great leaders have to learn how to influence their people, not just give directives and directions. So part of the way that you do that is by engaging with them. Hey, what is it that you're working on? Ask a lot of questions. Jim Collins is a great author and used to always challenge us every time I've heard him to say, whatever the number of questions is that you ask in a day, double it.
Wow.
Just double it.
Yeah.
Because you're not asking enough. So if you find yourself telling or you're not asking multiple questions of people, or obviously not nagging, but just investigative, curiosity, I think you've got to have a lot of that as a new leader on an established team or with established people. So tell me about what you do, how you do it, why you do it, how long you've been here. Tell me about who you are. Start to create trust with these people. Show up the same way every day. That creates trust as well. They have to understand how you're going to show up, what your expectations are, that one day you're not going to be up here and the next day down here, and that you're not going to let X, Y, and Z throw you off completely. So show up the same way every single day. Be engaging. Like I said, be curious. Start to create those connections with people. And then again, we go back to this so often, or at least I kind of steer us this direction. Find out, be very clear with what the wins are for these people and what the wins are for your team and your organization, and help them by leading well, help them accomplish those things, because winning creates this culture and it makes everything easier. It's the greatest momentum creator, I think, of all time. Yeah. When you win, keep winning. So that's kind of the initial thoughts on it I would give.
Yeah, I really appreciate the thoughts there, especially around, again, talking about creating the wins. It's something that comes up a lot, but I think it's really true and important. And I'm thinking through, if I am assertive and aware, I think it is important to have those outside conversations and be building that trust and rapport with your team, because that's what happens. That's what you need for when you're in meetings or it comes time to make those decisions, and they have more trust and understanding of who you are. But I'm thinking of when they talk about times like they're in a meeting and they're being asked to make recommendations. How do you as a new person handle those in the moment to feel like you're keeping that balance still? Yeah. Maybe you haven't had time to have all of those individual conversations yet.
Yeah, I think if it's in a meeting setting, I think you can still do those things within the setting of that meeting. Hey, if you want me to make a recommendation, I'm going to go around the table and ask you, what do you think?
Yeah.
what, based on your history, your expertise, how would you weigh in on this scenario? Great, thank you. What about you? What do you think? You've not said anything today. What do you think? Like, what's in your mind right now? And listen and have that time that you get that feedback, even if you've not had the chance to go around to each person individually. And then I think with all of those insights and whatnot, then you give your recommendation, having filtered through those things with your expertise as well. I think that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good because sometimes there's a fear of like, maybe you need to come in with an open mind and question mindset, but maybe in the moment when you're in a more formal setting or a meeting,
Sure.
It feels like, well, I can't do that because I haven't had time to meet everybody yet, And so I think that's good. Even just the thought of taking time and really listening to everybody. I want to talk about next, really the idea of, they mention it a little bit, but like dodge responsibility just to be liked. And that concept of like, a lot of times people it's natural a lot of times. It's pretty much 90% of the time. People want to be liked. They want to be liked by who they spend their time with, whether it's personal or in work. So how do you come in with someone maybe that is a big emphasis for them? They want to be liked by their team.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that and make sure you're not putting too much emphasis on being liked and managing that with being respected as well?
I forget who it is that says this. I think it might be Dave Ramsey. I don't remember who it is, but if you want to be liked, go sell ice cream. Do it by yourself.
That actually sounds like him. So
I think it might be. Yeah. If you're looking to be liked, that's a natural thing. Leaders can't always be liked because they are what leaders do is take people to places they otherwise would not go or could not go on their own. That's at least the definition that I live with of leadership. And so if you're taking people to places they wouldn't go or couldn't go because they can't see what you see, they don't want to do the things that are necessary to get to a better future, then you're not always going to be liked. So if you are a leader and you want to lead, you're going to have to be okay with not always being liked by the people that you work with the most or that you lead the closest to. Doesn't give you the right to be a jerk. It doesn't give you the right to not care. But what you have to do is you got to go, am I their leader first, or am I their... I was going to say friend. I don't even think that's correct, because I think if you're a real friend, you're actually providing some information and some feedback sometimes to your friends that might not always be received that well because it's uncomfortable. But if you're going to be a great leader, you can't always be well liked. You can be respected.
Yeah.
And the way that you're respected is, again, by showing up the same way every time, helping people win, putting others' best interests at the forefront, but not bending or bowing to what they always want. Because if you did that, there really is no reason for you to be there. I mean, if you're just doing their bidding and going, how do I make you happy today?
Right.
Well, that's not the job of a leader. That's the job of maybe a therapist. That's the job of maybe, I don't know what that is, but it's not a leader. Leaders take people to places they otherwise wouldn't or couldn't go.
Yeah.
And that's going to create some tension. Live in the tension.
You have to. But say, talking to myself 7-8 years ago, I'm a new leader, heart on my sleeve, love people, love everyone. I want to serve. I have all this desire. And you've just stabbed me in the heart and told me that not everybody's going to like me and I should get over it. And that means putting being liked above all else means I'm not going to reach my leadership capacity. What are steps I take to overcome that feeling of, okay, maybe I'm not going to be liked? What checks can you put in place for yourself to make sure that you're not making decisions based on that desire to be liked?
Man, I think that's a really deep, honestly, that's a deep
I know,
question.
It's a lot.
I'll give you a couple of highlights that I have worked on and that I have seen other people do that have been successful in leadership. The first is do everything you can to create clarity and to create a sense of purpose with everything that you do with your team. if they can see and feel your heart, oftentimes the decisions that you make and the things that might make them not like you as much will be better received because they actually can see and sense your heart behind everything. Yeah. So I think that's the thing. Get clarity of purpose and be really good at communicating well. The second thing I think as an individual that's a leader, we all want to be liked. We can't always be liked by the people that we lead at all times. So I would try to find advocates along the way for just you that aren't people that you lead, whether it's a coach, like one of us, or whether it's a trusted resource on the outside, whatever it might be. Have somebody that's always in your corner that will help you, though. They'll lead you the way you might be leading other people. Yeah. They'll be able to point things out in you that you don't see yourself, your blind spots, but they'll also do it in a way that is just encouraging to you. So get a trusted advisor, I think is what I would say. Next is find out what refreshes you. Oftentimes what I find with younger leaders like yourself is that you want to create instant community because that's who you are. And that does come with time, but if you're tasked with leading a group of people and taking them to a place they otherwise wouldn't go, that's not always going to create community. It will with some, but it'll create tension with others. So I think you've got to be really intentional with creating community, outside of the workplace and doing things that refresh you. That's not leading other people. And then I think last, I'll just say, get honest feedback.
That's true.
Get as honest feedback as you possibly can from the people whose feedback you actually value. If you've got a squeaky wheel on the team and all they're doing is just blah, 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 we've all had those.
Yeah.
I wouldn't listen to their feedback, honestly. But if you've got a good steady and they're supporting, they're showing up every day doing well, ask them for their feedback on specific things. Don't just say, hey, how do you think I'm doing as a leader?
Yeah.
Ask them specifically, hey, how do you think I'm doing on communication? Do you like this? What do you not like? What do you think of how I show up every day? What do you need more from me on? And if you do that and then start enacting some of those things, I think it helps. I know it helps with people's interaction with you and knowing that you're still a learner as well. Yeah. Leaders are learners still. So does that?
Yeah, I think those are super helpful steps. Something I was thinking about during that as well, something that helped me personally along this journey is I realized when I was focusing on being liked, quote unquote, it was usually very individualistic. It was, I want every single individual person to like me at all the time. And if I felt somebody wasn't doing that, I would focus in and say, well, what am I doing? And it sometimes led me to making decisions that harmed the team as a whole, or I wasn't making good enough decisions for the whole. Yeah. Whereas shifting to making respectable decisions is really challenging yourself to, are these decisions best for the whole? Am I holding us to the standards? Am I helping us? When all of these things that we've talked about, putting those checks into yourself and, like you said, talking to other people and getting honest feedback takes it away from an individual that might sometimes help make you lose focus. So I think that really helped too, is remembering that being liked, quote unquote, is not really a helpful focus because there's always going to be something wrong or something about yourself you need to fix, or that sometimes you could be doing everything right and it's still just not going to gel with somebody. And I think that is still a hard thing to swallow, but keeping that idea of being respected and making those decisions and doing those things you talked about, I think are really helpful with that.
I still to this day will go home sometimes and go I can't in my heart of hearts understand how somebody that has worked with me could take that perspective or say that thing about me. And so I'm introspective and I'm like, what did I do wrong? How do I make this better? What do I learn from this? But then at the same time, I'm also like, that's just part of it. Yeah. We're all so different in terms of people. Not everybody's going to always agree with what you do or say, and people are going to have different perspectives, and they've got all their everybody brings their life stuff to work. And so if you try to make everybody like you, gosh, you got all this stuff that they're going through too. You might not actually be the reason that they don't like you.
True.
So you just got to be steady, respectful, and I think you'll garner respect. And if folks ultimately don't like the way you lead, they'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, I think those are really great, clear steps and just checks, I think, internally to be able to put in for yourself and manage that. Because as Assertive and Aware talks about this, getting back to the whole point of their letter, just looking at this overall, they are there to lead. Like they said, they've been brought in to do this specific job, and it's not helping anybody win to step back and not do that job. It doesn't mean you're stepping in and taking over everything and changing everything in your first month, but doing things like you talked about, I think, are those great steps. And then as we talk about the being liked versus being respected, it's some of those personal checks that you put in to really hold yourself to make sure not only you're just trying to please one or two people on your team, you're doing what's best for your entire team. And I think respect comes alongside that when people see you truly using those decisions and doing those things that we've talked about, having ownership to say when things might go wrong, or helping the team celebrate when they've done right, when they've won, and doing those really foundational things, I think, are great. Something that is coming out at the end of this month that I think will really help Assertive and Aware and just everybody in their leadership journey. We've got a course coming out that really talks about how to go from self-doubt to being a really self-aware leader and how to put in these checks. And it goes through step by step and things like even how to schedule your week in a certain way to make sure you're giving yourself time to think about these things, because it's detrimental as a leader to only do the physical task of the day-to-day and not to give yourself the time to work on your personal development and things that you want to do. So that's coming out on our website at the end of the month. As we talk about this, I just keep thinking of great exercises that are in that course that I think will really help this person. So more info is coming out about that, but I think that's going to be a really helpful tool for them as well. Anything else you want to add? Any parting words for Assertive and Aware as we head off this week?
No, I think just show up the way you're supposed to show up. You're brought in to lead. That's why the company brought you in and not somebody else. So come in, lead with humility, lead as a servant leader, ask a lot of questions, and then ask more questions, and then help your team get their wins. Yeah. Congratulate them when they do. Build your leadership off of respect instead of likes. I think likes create clicks. Respect creates a lasting legacy.
Yeah. So that's great. Okay. I think that's it for us this week. Thank you so much, Assertive and Aware. If you or someone out there wants to write in a letter and share with us what you're going through, whether it's similar or something totally different, we would love to talk about it. Please just visit our website and write us in, and we can't wait to hear from you. Thanks so much. Have a great week.